Hi guys, and welcome back to Neil on Sunday podcast with me, Chris, and my beautiful, fresh out the shower, freshly washed hair, fresh skin, fresh, just about everything. You even smell delicious today. My wife, Rebecca.
Hi.
I didn't call you baby this time.
Ooh.
I called it in one of the last pods
Disgusting.
that I was editing today, and I just wanted to apologise.
It's so insincere.
It's not, honey. It actually is. When I call you baby, it means
You
actually.
never call me baby.
That's
Only ever in here.
I don't often like you.
Just to wind me up.
It's really not. Oh, did you hear
I
my tummy there?
Did you hear that?
Jeez and Louise. Do you know what I had, guys? In fact, let's just get to today's subject. Today we're going to talk about common mistakes that are made by nail techs. But we'll come on to that in a little bit. Today I have been up super early. The boys got me up at 6. Had a little Red Bull, went to Aldi, had a little protein shake that you get from Aldi. And then, because Rebecca's making me come in and record another podcast because we were trying to get ahead because we're going to be busy over the next few weeks, we might not have a chance to, I had a espresso. And then I put a little bit of my chocolate protein into my espresso.
Mm-hmm.
It made it really nice.
Nice.
But not for me.
Okay.
I don't like coffee. So I think for me, I just have to have it hardcore, just black.
Yeah, but you don't like it because you're not trying to make it nice. Like, I wouldn't drink it just black. I adore the smell of coffee, just raw coffee. But I wouldn't just drink it black. I need to have it sweetened and creamed.
Yeah, I don't.
You said that you don't want to start liking all these fancy schmancy coffees, so you're not going to start bastardizing them.
Do you know what it is? I think that the generations have got fat. I am totally responsible for this as well, by adding sweetness to everything to try and make it more palatable. And we need to stop that. For example, like if I drink tea, it's now black tea. I don't add milk in it. When I was growing up, my mum used to chuck in like full fat, half a pint of milk to like a cup of tea. No sugar, thankfully. But with likes of coffee.
Sugary tea. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. It's wild.
Ooh.
Coffee, you make it as sweet as possible. But I think, see, if you just have it just black, and so there's no calories into it. It's like we were talking about Mexican Coke the other day there. In case you guys don't know this is wild, right? President Trump recently has told Coca-Cola, that big, massive company that we actually have shares in, it's part of one of our retirement funds, told them to stop using corn syrup to sweeten the original Coca-Cola. I would have thought it was just cane sugar, right? But back in, I think it was the 80s, 70s, something like that, they changed over to corn syrup because it can be mass produced in the US and it is much cheaper than actual cane sugar. Fructose instead of glucose. Anyway, told them to change over to cane sugar. I don't know why, because for the most part, cane sugar I think comes from like Caribbean and stuff. Think about Barbados on the island, make rum and stuff, rum and things.
And rum is made with
cane sugar. I've actually been to a sugarcane plantation when I was a kid. Tried rum. I was like 11 years old. It was excellent. Steamboats at 11. Christchurch in Barbados. Anyway, back to it. It turns out that Mexican Coke is cane sugar. And that's why people like import it into America.
Most people listening probably know this. They know about the whole Mexican soda pop situation.
Really?
Yes.
Is it on TikTok?
No.
Oh, right.
I don't think so. It's just a thing that we know. I don't know why we know, but we know.
I don't know.
It's extra sweet.
Extra sweet, yeah. And you can go to some like restaurants and they have like Mexican Coke. Anyway, turns out this new Coke that they're going to be making is going to be like a premium Coke.
But it won't be here in the UK. Well, I mean, the sugar tax would.
The sugar tax would eat that up. That's a wild thing that we have here now, sugar tax. That was introduced, 5 years ago maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Around the pandemic time. It put the price of beer up.
Is it just in Scotland or is it in England as well?
I think they have it in England as well. Surely.
I don't know. Well, we've got different taxes on alcohol. Like our alcohol is so much more expensive than theirs.
Yeah, because they have the alcohol tax.
It's just crazy. Whenever we go to a supermarket in England and Chris wants to buy a case of beer, it is like £5 cheaper for the exact same case of beer.
£7.
£7. The same case of beer in the same supermarket.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If I drink stronger beers here, it works out roughly about the same. It's the lighter beers that seem to make the difference. Yeah. But like in England,
because they've got minimum pricing.
Yeah, in England, we've spoken about this before. They have they can do promotional offers on alcohol, whereas here in Scotland we can't. So you can get like 4 cans for the price of 3.
It's crazy.
Whereas in Scotland, it's just you just buy single cans on the crafty beers.
I think the sugar tax. I
Might
think
just
it's
be,
everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
it just bumps the price up of full fat stuff, like it's not even fat, full sugar stuff.
I don't know how anybody can drink that. That is just like syrup. Like,
man.
why would you waste the calories?
That's the thing, it's the empty calories. That's what I'm going back to. So why take like a coffee and then add extra calories for no reason?
Oh, no, but I do it sugar free. I know, and I know that's probably far less healthy. I do it sugar free, fat free, fun free, but it tastes like it's got all the fun.
So if Rebecca goes to Starbucks, it's a venti, sugar free. No, I see. If I go to the drive-through window,
You can
I
do
just
it. You do it
rhyme
fine
off.
every day at the drive-through.
Every day, yeah. Venti, skinny, sugar-free, caramel cream frappuccino with 2 decaf shots, frap chips, cream and drizzle.
Yeah,
With the cream and
I
drizzle are the sweet parts.
and
The frap chips add a little bit of the chocolate,
chewy chew.
bit of juicy chew. But it's skinny milk, so there's like no calories in the milk almost, and then sugar-free syrup and stuff like that.
Syrup.
To make the caramel cream. Caramel,
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be a lot of calories in it, but it's vastly reduced.
I
from
reckon
what
it'll
it
be
could
what 300-400 calories compared to probably 1,000 calories if it was all.
I'd probably say maybe like 700 calories full, and then I don't know if this is even as much as 300. I mean, the frap chips probably do bump it up, and the cream and the drizzle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Other coffee houses are available, especially that one we went to in Arizona. I keep thinking about it.
Camel Stop. That was great. That
It
was
was.
great. Even my drink was great.
Yeah. You can tell we've been up to nothing this week. The fact we're talking about coffee and taxes.
Nothing at all.
Jeez. Honey, what have you been up to this week? You can tell by, I did spill something on me and I have mopped it up. But I'm wearing a jumper today because even though it's in the middle of July here, it's pretty chilly today.
It is chilly.
I was happy to go in my shower today just to get some heat.
Yeah, it's cold. Well, since yesterday I have been up to nothing, but we do have launching tonight. We do have a live tonight. We've remembered that.
We do. I'd like
Yeah.
to go for a nap before it, I think.
We have got a new Cuticle Oil scent, Caribbean Crush.
Or as I keep calling it, Candy Crush.
We have got a new pigment palette, which is really cool, Space Odyssey one.
Space Odyssey, yeah.
It's really cool.
Very futuristic.
And we have got Bubble Bath,
Yes.
which is hands down the sexiest packaging we have done on anything yet. Everything, just the design, the feel of the
bottle.
the materials, everything is
The
just
labels.
so good.
When did we... Honey, I'm going to have to beep that out. Jesus Christ.
Jesus. I'm
Right.
just so excited by it.
When did we start that project?
Oh my God.
We were planning to launch it, was it for January 1st?
It was a very, 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 very long
And
time
why
ago.
did we put it on hold? Other stuff just got in the way.
Yeah, we forgot about it.
Yeah, so the bottles, just to give you guys an idea, right? So for instance, most of our packaging comes from China because you can't buy packaging here.
Well, you can.
Yeah, but it comes from China.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So we actually tried to buy bottles here like years ago when we first started. And the price was like really expensive. And we said, what's the lead time on it? And they were like 12 weeks. And we're like, so why is it 12 weeks if it's coming from down south? And they're like, no, we actually imported from China.
You say it's being a
So-
middleman.
Yeah, so we just go to China for it straight now. And the person who supplies our cuticle oil pens supplies the bottles for the new bubble bath, bubble tea, bubble bath. And I would say that those are the sexiest bottles we've had. Combine that with the design that we've got on the label and the actual feel of the label
I
as
think
well.
this is going to sell out tonight.
Sell out,
Sell out tonight.
you think?
Because we've only been sent a third of the stock. So it's going to sell out tonight.
Anyway, the point of my story there was we expedited those bottles in. They can either come by sea, which is cheap as hell, or we can air freight them in. And it was quite a lot we air freighted in.
Yep. Cost a fortune.
And we did this ages ago. And then the project just went south. We just forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had to reignite it and it's costing us an absolute fortune. So we're making no money on it, basically. Giving it away for cost price. Almost.
It's very stunning though.
It is. And that's
Very good ingredients.
the product. Was there a delay because of the product? Because we were trying to get the product just like
I made
bang
some
on?
I was making little tweaks and we were adding different ingredients because we wanted it to be as luxurious as possible.
Yeah. When that foam squirts out, it's quite something.
It's very good.
Quite something. There has been a sample up here for a long
A
time.
long time.
And we've all been, I can actually see it just now. And we have been using it sporadically. And every time we use it, we always go, oh, we should really get back on that project. And then never do. Literally, we go downstairs from podcast studio and then that's it. It goes out our head.
Yep.
But this one will be a firm favourite. And I've said to Rafi, like, let's make a whole shelf for this because it takes up a lot of space on the shelf. And he was like, are we going to bring in any other scents?
No.
That was going to be my question.
And I'll tell you the reason why. Because the fragrance oil will have an anti-effect of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So that's why it can't have like any sort of those type of oils. It has to have like non-oil based moisturizing ingredients like aloe and niacinamide and all those type of things.
I think this is why it's not been like a burning passion of ours.
I know.
When you bring out a new cuticle oil, we get super excited about the scent. So it's not so much the ingredients. The ingredients we've got locked down and we've had that locked down for ages. It's the scent. So for instance, Candy Crush, Caribbean Crush.
It smells like Lilt, right?
It smells like totally tropical flavours. Yeah. And you get excited about it. Like the autumn winter ones, I don't get excited about because I don't like those types of fragrances. The summer ones I definitely do because they are super like fruity, sweet, stuff like that. I get really excited about the launch of those ones coming. When it comes to this, because it doesn't have that
I know.
punch.
It's so annoying because that's something that we were talking about with the manufacturer, and we were going backwards and forwards and talking about different floral waters.
Yeah, rose water and stuff like that.
That we could use, but realistically nothing was making much of a difference, so I just left it.
Also,
and it's good for people who are sensitive and stuff, fragrance free. So,
and as much as it is fragrance free, there has a hint of tiny little things.
Yeah, you said it smelled like the Simple Wipes.
Simple Wipes, yeah.
It's very very natural. I think it's gonna be good for a lot of people.
It will be. And
people have asked us for like unscented cuticle oil before. This is better.
You can't do unscented cuticle. It stinks. Actual raw materials of cuticle stink. Well, they don't stink. They just don't smell nice.
There are other brands that sell unscented ones. I've never smelled theirs.
Nah.
I can't imagine what it would smell like, but
stank.
Stank.
Okay, honey, let's get on to today's topic. And you guys are probably thinking, wait a minute, we don't make any mistakes. Trust me, honey, we all
well,
make
we've just done a
mistakes.
2-parter on the mistakes that we made.
We have.
We could probably do it as a 4-parter or a 6-parter.
Easily. Look, at the end
In
of the
fact,
day.
every week we could come up with a podcast just on the mistakes we made that week.
Absolutely. Oh, just that week, yeah.
Just that week.
Let me just tell you a mistake that you guys are making right now. You guys are assuming that you don't make any of these mistakes. That's a mistake. Yeah.
That was a big mistake that had been made this week, predominantly by me. Predominantly by me. Cost us thousands of pounds.
Oh, you did.
Can't talk about it though.
Oh, gosh.
I can't claim full responsibility for it. I'm going to claim 50% responsibility, and I'm going to assign the other 50% equally from the manufacturer of the bottle and the manufacturer of the product. So
Yes.
I think that's fair.
I think what's happened is people have just realized, I've just gone one step and then not thought about the basics. And this is something I always say all the time.
I know, and Sam said to us just recently, having a packaging technician. And I said, Sam, you are now the packaging technician.
Yeah. But again, as soon as this error was flagged, instantly I was like, of course. And I think you were, of course. And this is why every other brand who's done something like this before us.
We were like, why has nobody done this before? And then now we know why. You guys have no idea what we're talking about, but you will soon enough. But I feel like things like this happen to us every single time we start with a brand new product that we've never done before.
Yeah, always.
Because obviously that other thing for 2026, I've just found this out as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think Sam would be very useful for this.
Yeah, well, she's looking for more hours anyway. So there you go. She does nothing anyway.
Nothing at all. That graphic designer creating all that beautiful packaging.
Dicks about all day, Sam. I'm watching. I can see your computer from where I sit these days.
She is playing Candy Crush.
She is playing Candy Crush, yeah. Yeah, but I do strongly believe that every mistake you make is just a learning opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Chris and I are major into this. Every single thing. I personally do not believe in regret at all. When people say, oh, what are the things you've done in the past that you really regret and you wish you hadn't? I don't have any. Because if I hadn't made all of those decisions, no matter how difficult they were at the time and wrongly felt at the time, and at the time I felt like, oh my God, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish this hadn't happened. I wouldn't be exactly where I am right now. And I'm really glad to be exactly where I am right now.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
I am. I'm so glad to be exactly where I am right now. Are you not glad of even like old relationships and things like that? Because
100%.
Because you need them all.
Yes, absolutely. I had to make those mistakes. I had to do, and sometimes, when it's like, and sometimes you split up with a girl or a guy or whatever, and you think to yourself, oh, God, I'm never going to feel this way again. Trust me, you'll feel stronger for them. That not maybe the next person or the next person, but you'll end up with someone like Rebecca, do you know what I mean, who just absolutely rocks your world in every single way. But I do strongly believe that I'm trying to think. Sometimes you make fatal errors, or sometimes you don't do it, or sometimes you don't take that leap and you wish you had, you know? And sometimes I go back over it myself so many times and think to myself, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd done that. But it sets you up for the future where you know, like the next time that opportunity comes, you grab it with both
You
hands.
needed to make that mistake. And this is funny. I listened to in fact, did I listen to the podcast? No, I didn't. I can't remember where I listened to this. And it was talking about the difference between depression and anxiety.
Yes, that's like such a good one.
We listened to a podcast
it
it was a psychiatrist.
It was in America.
Yes.
Campervan.
The difference between depression and anxiety is depression is worrying about and dwelling on what's already happened.
Yep.
And anxiety is worrying about what's not yet happened.
Yeah.
And it's very, I think, obvious when we speak, Chris, and I never worry about the past, talk about the past, or harp on about anything bad that's happened in the past. For me, once something bad has happened, I'm very much done and I've moved on.
Quite often we reflect on it and laugh on it, or we will celebrate it in some way,
Yeah,
you know, because it's got us.
The last year we went through some really difficult things,
Yep.
but now I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm not thinking about it.
Moved
It's
on.
not like affecting me in any way moving forward. Like even my views on those people of like, I'm like, okay, I'm done with that part of
But would you say that affected your life heavily in the last year? You guys probably know we spoke about certain things on the podcast, which we're not going to bring up.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're not.
We're not
For
gonna
it really did affect my life for that year, and it caused me a huge amount of stress and a huge amount of anxiety because not knowing what was happening or going to happen, blah 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 blah. But now that it's done and it's in the past,
moved on.
Totally moved on, and I'm not gonna have a grudge against those people or go on and on about it and really hate on them or whatever. Because I'm like, it's done. Move forward. You know, like just try and be positive.
I think actually the way it was left has actually been such a positive thing. And
Yeah,
I
totally agree.
I think everyone who was involved will learn a lot from that. At least I hope so.
Yeah, of course, us included.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. But yeah, so that is the difference between depression and anxiety. And I thought it was a really interesting fact and it made so much sense to me. And I know that I have anxiety, was diagnosed that when I was 17, medicated for it, but I definitely don't have depression.
Yeah.
I'm never worrying about what's happened in the past.
Yeah. It's weird because sometimes I do, sometimes the things that keep me up at night, and I don't mean keep me up, usually I am, as soon as I hit the pillow, I am done. But I might wake up at 3 a.m. and I might sit and go through things in my head, you know? And it's never future stuff, it's always stuff in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
That could not, it might not be a bad thing actually. It might be good things that have happened in the past, but I don't really, maybe I'm not an optimist. Maybe I don't look towards the future.
I just never, once it's done, it never crosses my mind again. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
I think I reflect on it to learn from it. I think that's a thing with age, you know?
I mean, I definitely find myself doing that for sure, but not, it's very much there in the moment and the lessons are learned right in the moment. I don't sort of reflect on it.
Yeah.
This has become a very philosophical episode that we haven't talked about anything nail related.
We've not.
What are we in, 30 minutes?
Feels like it. Sorry, guys. This is technically still the intro. Let's just get on to it.
Let's go on with it.
Letting clients dictate and decide for you how you run your business.
For sure. I think this is a mistake that so many nail techs make, and I think this has so many facets to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of them we've covered recently in different things, like clients coming in and letting, them bullying you into taking an appointment, bullying you into doing things you don't want to do, etc., etc. So let's try and keep a high level overview. And what are the kind of common mistakes that people make when it comes to allowing clients to dictate how they run their business?
Exactly what you've touched on there very quickly. Things like we've talked about before, which is sort of them bullying you, pressuring you into things that you don't feel comfortable with, or situations you don't feel comfortable with, or doing things that you don't feel comfortable with. It is your business and that is for you to run exactly as you like. So that might be, imagine you have certain working hours and there's a client, they're trying to press you to work past them or before them or come in a day that you're not meant to be working. That's a good example. Maybe you don't feel comfortable doing a certain treatment on them because of their nails. Maybe they're contraindicated, something like that. Forcing you into that. Maybe
can I say one that I've just seen on the Facebook group?
Go then.
I know you guys think, why is Chris in the Facebook group? I try not to do any social
This
media.
is a crazy, crazy situation. Something with a 4-year-old and some toilet paper and a whole heap of stuff.
No, but that sounds wild as well. Sounds like a Saturday evening. No, e-file thing. Customer had messaged in to say, I really want to book in me for a treatment, but I don't like the e-file.
Oh God, this is something I see all the time.
Would you go to a dentist and say, I don't really like the drill? Yeah, people would do that.
They
But
do.
at the end of the day,
They do.
you have to get the drill.
Well, you say that. I mean, when we go to the hygienist, if you really don't want the machine, they'll do it manually.
What?
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
It's in many ways worse. What I would say is if you have a client like that, number one, ask them why they don't want you to use it. They're probably going to tell you that they've had a bad experience prior. So be understanding, hear them, but then try to reintroduce them and re-educate them. So when we teach the e-file, we talk about a great way to do that, which is using like a polishing ball at a low speed and using it, say, at the end of the treatment to massage in oil. Because what you need to get that client to do is you need to get them to eventually conform to your way of doing things. Because it's not fair on you to have to spend twice the amount of time because they don't want the e-file. You have two choices. You re-indoctrinate them into being allowed to use an e-file, which I think is very, very easy to do, and we'll go through in a second. Or you tell them that's absolutely fine. However, I am going to have to charge you X amount more because it's going to take me more time. Those are your two options. If you're happy with doing the manual method, I wouldn't be personally.
The thing is, a lot of people, because we preach it on podcasts like this and so many other people do, they don't learn manually, you know. They do it when they're first introduced into, say, gels.
But
or
they're not
build or
practiced
something.
at it, yeah.
Yeah, they're not well versed in it. So they do the e-file and they're not confident in doing a manual file.
Yeah, so maybe the treatment's actually going to end up not being as good.
Yeah.
And that's something else you have to explain. My prep isn't going to be as in-depth as it usually would, and I'm going to have to charge you a little bit extra time. How would you feel about me showing you my techniques and gently introducing you to them? That's what I would do. So if they have a really big phobia, you can, like I said, do the polishing ball, low speed, 5, with some oil at the end of the treatment, and then they'll see, right, okay, it's not so scary. And also just talk them through all the ways that your things are different. So if they go to a non-standard salon, it's a very different experience. It's not, most of you watching right now who use an e-file, it is going to be predominantly for prep. There's a lot of people who never use even a sanding band, or they don't use carbide bits for refining, etc. It's going to be predominantly for removals, infills, and just the cuticle prep. At a non-standard salon, typically it is only a sanding band and a carbide bit they use. It has nothing to do with the prep, really, other than like etching the natural nail. So really just try and reintroduce them, talk to them about the differences between what their methods are and what your methods are, the training that you've had, and how good the results are going to be, and how there isn't going to be any discomfort or pain.
Yeah. I think a big thing for me is I hate getting my cuticles worked on.
Or as Rafi calls them, his cubicles.
Cubicle. We'll talk about Rafi in a minute, actually. He listens to this podcast.
I know.
It's funny.
So Rafi, for anybody who doesn't know, Rafi is our stock controller, and he is Laura's dad. So we've now got 3 Parisis who work here. We've got Laura's dad, Laura's brother, and Laura.
I'll talk about Rafi real quick because it does listen. I would say, and I've said this to you many times over the last few weeks, the difference in Rafi now from when he started is night and day. When he first started, he didn't understand any of the products.
He still doesn't.
I know. However, his opinion on them has changed.
Right.
You know? So for instance, like the bubble bath, we said how much we were charging for it. He was like, no, you've got to charge much more than that for it. And we were like, Jesus Christ, Rafi, we actually did charge a little bit extra for it because we've actually worked out that our competitors, we were undercharging to begin with. But his growth recently, because he's made a lot of mistakes, his growth has changed. You know, has changed. His mental attitude has changed. So I just want to put that out into the podcast there. So
snaps for Rafi.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is that Laura messaged last week and said that it turned out her and her dad were both watching the podcast from different rooms.
Yeah,
which I love.
Times.
Getting those views up for us, guys.
Back to my cuticles. I hate them being worked on, but I find it easier with the e-file because it's relatively quick and you don't pay attention to it.
You cannot stand cuticle pushing.
Cuticle pushing with a manual tool or cuticle scissors, I will happily tear my limb off so I don't have to feel that anymore.
I don't like the pushing either. So, and that's another one of the reasons that I always just use a sanding band. Somebody commented on a video that I was doing the other day and said, "Oh, you never use a cuticle pusher." I use a sanding band to do that job.
Yeah, to do the job. That's the way we were originally taught when we first did nails 15 years ago. Yeah. And that's my personal preference. If I was to come to you and you were to start hacking away at that, I probably wouldn't say anything. So maybe a good idea for nail techs is to say, is there anything about the treatment you don't like? You know, and I can avoid that. So for instance, with that lady is, like you said, what is it that puts you off? What is it that scares you? What is it that you've maybe had go wrong before? If they turn around and say a cuticle pusher, or when you're doing the e-file, like getting under the cuticles and stuff like that, it makes me really feel uneasy. Just don't do that.
There's little tweaks you can make for sure. But in general, your clients do have to conform to the way that you do things. So, yeah.
I think we've spoken about this before, so we won't really go into depth in it, as policies is a great thing.
1,000,000%.
When we started, we had no policies. It was a Wild West. We've spoken about this many, many times. So if I were you guys, I would either try and get your own policies put in place. I would definitely reach out to other nail techs if you're just starting out, or if you're reintroducing new policies. See what people do as well, because there will be policies out there that you don't think of that as soon as you implement them, will change your nail business.
And that's the other thing. If you have policies and you have clients turning up breaking those policies, you need to stand by them, because if you let it go once, they will just take the mick again and again and again. For instance, say you have a no child policy and somebody turns up with a child, you've got to refuse them, and it's difficult to do, but you have to do it, because if you don't do it that one time, you've set a precedent.
We were just talking about the summer holidays as we were coming in here, because the English kids are just about to split up, whereas the Scottish kids have been off the last 3-4 weeks. And one thing that we used to put out as a public service announcement when we had our salon is the week before the school holidays broke up, just a polite reminder that no kids under 12 are allowed in the salon. Because under 10. Because what you find is day one of the school holidays, someone will turn up with 5 kids under 5 and 10 sausage rolls.
Yeah, it's always the goddamn sausage rolls.
Because sausage rolls will keep them quiet.
Yeah.
For a little bit, but there'll be sausage roll crumbs all over the salon.
I just think, in general, if a client is asking you to do something that you don't feel comfortable with, or is against the way that you have generally done things, or you want things to be done, you must stand firm and say no, because if you don't, you will regret it. You will. You will. It always comes round to bite you.
100%. Can't say anything more than that. Next up, choosing products for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Sometimes you choose products for what you think are the right reasons, and one of those right reasons is everybody else is doing it.
So I put up a TikTok recently that I had quite a lot of reaction to, and I was so happy to find, when I asked why people were choosing the brands that they were, that actually people are putting in a lot of thought into why they'd chosen their brands. Now, don't get me wrong, the people that commented did it, the people that didn't comment, let's say, they probably aren't putting in a lot of thought. But I really like that nail techs are thinking about things such as like the ethics of the brand. Like, the thing is, if you're investing in a brand and you're investing for the long term, you're thinking, right, my career is going to be 20 years and I'm picking this brand to sort of stay with them. It's not to say that you can't introduce other things. Then you want to make sure that you're going to agree with them long term. There's not anything that's going to happen, a few years down the line that's going to make you go, oh shoot, like I'm going to have to completely rebrand. Because we've kind of talked about this before when we were talking about brand ambassadors and things like that, is that often a reflection of yourself is the brand that you choose to invest in, especially if you're quite heavy on the advertising of that brand, tagging them a lot, all on display, etc., etc. If something bad happens and that brand becomes the center of a controversy, that might reflect quite badly on you, and your clients might start putting pressure on you to have to sort of switch brands, which is obviously a really expensive endeavor. So yeah, I think choosing a brand for their ethics and morals is really, really important. Looking at the brand as a whole, what can they offer you? Are they generally supportive? Are they giving out a lot of free educational content? Do you agree with the content that they're giving out? Are they responsive to their customers? Those are the right reasons to choose a brand. The wrong reasons to choose a brand are aesthetics.
I'd say aesthetics and price.
Yeah, I think there's lots of reasons to choose a brand, right? And there's an order in which that I would select things. And I think price and aesthetics should be in the list.
Absolutely.
But if you turn it on its head, that's when it's all wrong. So aesthetics and price, they're going to be your bottom priorities. Literally the very bottom of the list.
Aesthetics, I would say yes. Price, I would say that sometimes like people will go for a brand because it looks more premium, or it is more premium because of the price. Whereas
like personally, I would put aesthetics as the very, very last thing to factor.
So what do you mean by aesthetics?
The way the bottle looks.
Okay. Yeah.
These fruit flies, by the way, where did they come from? Where did they go?
Well, not in that girl's car. We just seen a car that had a fruit fly catcher in it. It just made me think.
Oh, that's crazy. But where are they coming from here? There's no food.
I don't know. Cheekbones and bag of bones were up here, so it could be food anywhere.
So yeah, I would put aesthetics at the very bottom of the list. And it's something to potentially factor in. You know, if you've gone through the rest of your list and you think, okay, the aesthetics actually do kind of match, perfect, excellent. If they really, really don't, I don't know. Price, I would put.
The thing is, you don't have to have bottles on display. You don't have to.
Absolutely.
Actually, it might be safer that you don't.
Absolutely. There are lots of nail techs that just use drawers. And do you know what the thing is? It saves you having to clean them every week.
Yeah.
Like we had literally had to pay staff to clean our bottles. Now, don't get me wrong, those bottles had a real bad leaking situation. Ours don't tend to have that. But having them in drawers, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Saves you a job. So
The price, I think, is important. But I think you've got to really work it out gram for gram. I think a pricing calculator obviously helps you that. You know you can get one from Nail Order app. But don't go too cheap. Don't go too expensive. Work out what's good value for money.
yeah, factor the price if it is something that is going to affect you majorly, especially with setting up. But I wouldn't heavily too much go on it. If you really love the product and it offers you everything that you're looking for in a product, you almost have to disregard the price and think, do you know what? It's actually going to make my life easier. It's going to mean, okay, it's more expensive for me to buy the product, but I'm going to have less repairs. I'm going to have to do less coats.
Yeah.
So actually it's costing you less than you think it is.
This is what I mean by value.
Yes.
Sorry, maybe I should have reiterated it better. The cost per bottle you shouldn't take that into consideration because you might only be using one or two coats.
Yeah, the treatments per bottle. I wouldn't even say the price per gram. I'm saying the treatments per bottle because that is very different. You use a nail order black, a nail order white, where you can do that in one coat.
Yep.
Whereas some brands maybe are 2 or 3. Again with pastels, and maybe pastels you're doing 3 coats over a white base. But nail order, you're doing 2 coats of pastel with nothing underneath. That's saving you not only time, but it's saving you money. So I think whilst price can be a factor, it should be at the very, very bottom of the pile. And if, as I said, if you fall in love with the product and it works absolutely fantastically for you, it saves you time, it means you've got a really stunning application that lasts a long time, then you kind of have to disregard it.
Yeah. Okay. So really that comes into the major factor that you really need to consider is good quality products.
Good quality products for sure.
Choice of, I would say good quality products and a range of products.
To me, the top 3 reasons that are wrong to choosing a brand, right? Basing your decision on the aesthetics, basing your decision on the price, and basing your decision on the fact that, well, everybody else uses it and just following the crowd. Those are 3 terrible reasons to prioritize when choosing products.
Yeah. We kind of got off topic and we tried to make it really positive there, as in why you should choose it.
Yeah.
But why you shouldn't choose
why
it
you
is
shouldn't
those
choose
3
it.
things.
Those 3 things. You're gonna come unstuck. You might be great to begin with, and you're like, oh cool, I'm part of the cool gang, but it's not helping you.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's like when you're a kid and you want to hang around with the cool kids at school. Where are they now? Huh? Where are they now? Bald and fat, and that's just Margaret. Anyway, I'm so sorry. That was trauma. I was actually in the cool gang. Were you in the cool gang?
Yeah.
Yeah, you still are. Our gang. There's actually a picture I took of Rebecca and the boys in bed this morning. I thought, God, I've got a really cool gang. They were just all cuddled in bed.
They're so cool.
Yeah. All right. Not accounting for holidays when you're doing your pricing. Again, go back to the Nail Order app.
Use the bloody pricing calculator. But I think this is something that so many nail techs do not take into consideration is time off and pricing that into your prices. Because remember, if you were employed in a standard job, you would have your holiday allowance, your 5.6 weeks as a minimum holiday allowance you're going to get paid for. You're self-employed, you do not have that. So you have to account for that in your prices.
Yeah. So basically, you've got to work out how many weeks off a year you want to take. And realistically, if you're self-employed, I think a lot of people go into it with rose-tinted glasses thinking, I can take any day off when I want. I can take any time off. And I don't really need to work that hard.
I think
and
it
the money's
definitely
going to
becomes
come.
the opposite.
It does. We're currently,
Whose stomach is going mental?
I know. It's that coffee protein thing mixing.
Okay.
We're currently in here. God. We're currently in here on a Sunday recording this because we know that if we want to take some time off, maybe in a couple of weeks to maybe go away for Rebecca's mum's birthday, we've got to record these now so that they can be ready to go so that it becomes seamless. And you guys have got to know that if you want to be able to take a couple of weeks off for the kids in the school holidays, then you're going to have to factor that in. Who's going to pay for them? Who's going to pay for your time off? It's
Yeah.
you. You've got to do it. So you've got to save that money
Yeah.
someplace else. So you've got to factor that in.
And that's the other thing. When people look at their wage per hour when they are employed, they often forget about, especially if you're in the beauty industry and you're like, should I go self-employed? Should I not? You've got to factor in not only the stress of being self-employed and having to fill your own books and the fact that your income is not guaranteed, but you have got to factor in what, if you're currently trying to make that decision, right, I'm employed in nail tech, I'm trying to think, should I go self-employed? You've got to think about the fact that it's not only your hourly wage you're getting, it's the money for you being off, and that has a cost on top of your hourly wage.
One thing that, even if you do factor in the holiday allowance, one thing a lot of people don't do is the emergency fund. What if something goes wrong?
What if you need a day off because you're sick, or a week off because you're sick, or 2 weeks off because you're sick?
Yeah. I think one of the things that COVID definitely showed a lot of people who were self-employed or for working for salons for cash. This is something that not a lot of people talk about. Like, a lot of people used to work in salons for cash, you know, so it would be under the radar. They would be getting, I don't know, back then, say like £12-13 an hour, and it'd be under the radar.
Back then, probably 8.
But
But then COVID came along and they couldn't be furloughed.
We weren't allowed to be furloughed because they had to be on the books. Was it 3 months prior to it or something like that? And a lot of people just didn't get paid, you know. So having that in the back of your head, like, what if it all goes wrong? What if the world goes into lockdown? It's probably not going to for a long time.
What is happening
know,
over there?
honey.
Because that is insane.
I know, you can't pick up on the
It's
microphone.
every like 3 seconds. It's just going.
I feel like I've got a baby in my tummy. Yeah. But yeah, just factor in those types of things. I can remember one time you were doing an acrylic removal in the downstairs salon, and a bit of acrylic that you were filing off went straight into your eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you were like, oh, Chris, I've got acrylic in my eye. And I'm like, well, what the heck are we going to do? I had to finish the removal for that customer because obviously the customer had to do whatever they had to do. You had to go to the optician, you know? Luckily, it was quick, it was easy, they got it out. But what if it was more serious?
I know.
You know, what if you had to take a few weeks off for that eye to repair, you know?
What if you've got kids, they're prone to tonsillitis, you need to take a couple of weeks off because they have their tonsils out? Like, there's just lots of things. So I think having an emergency fund is really, really important. Even if it's just £1 per client, you know, it's just adding a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think that's a kind of set a way you can work it out in terms of what you should be adding per client? Does the pricing calculator factor that in? Yeah.
It can factor in any extra monthly costs you want to, you know, for like, I talked briefly about pension and stuff like that.
Pension,
you could factor in £500 a month for a pension. You could factor in, I don't know, £500 a month. Maybe that's going to cover your pension and emergency fund. You know, maybe you're putting £400 a month into your pension and £100 into an emergency fund.
That's a good one. Yeah. So yeah, check out the pricing calculator, not just for people who do nails, pretty much anything.
Any service whatsoever.
Sliding scales, just add what you want in. So let's talk about prices.
Pricing too low.
Pricing too low.
So I think I spoke about this in the last episode that we did. I was speaking to a nail tech, and essentially they were only looking to earn minimum wage, $12.50. She said, I just want to be comfortable. I was like, that you're not going to be comfortable.
No.
You're not going to be comfortable.
Again, because you're not factored in things like emergency funds, pensions, vacation time,
And then
etc.
she got me thinking, like, because I think she asked, like, how much do you think I should? And I'm like, I don't know what comfortable is to you, but how much an hour as a minimum should I be looking to earn as a nail tech after your costs? Like, what should my hourly rate be? As a self-employed person, I want to say near enough £20 an hour, or around £20 an hour, a little below, a little above. I want to say that.
I'd say that's fair. And I think the reason I would say that is fair is, imagine you're working a 10-hour day. Yeah. And then you go home, you have some food, and you sit and you're on, you know, Facebook, you're doing some messages, you're booking some clients in. You don't factor that in as working time.
Yeah.
But it is working time. You're doing a couple hours there, you know?
There's for sure loads and loads of admin that people do as a nail technician that they aren't factoring their time in for. So I think I would say low end, newish nail tech, £18 an hour.
15 to 18, I'd say, is brand new qualified.
Brand new qualified, 15 to 18. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. It's hard to say because your prices are going to be low to get people through the door. And that is actually more important at the very, very beginning than really making any money. You got to put the time in. But then ultimately, I think £20 to £25 an hour.
I think we'll lead on to something in a second that will maybe kind of make this make sense. But I think as you go through your career, you have to adapt. Mm-hmm. You have to ensure that you have longevity. Like what we're doing with Nail Order just now, we're trying to make it a 20, 25 year business before we can think about maybe retiring, you know, because that'll be retirement age for you. But just think to yourself, like, how can I ensure, like, I'm making £18 just now. I've been in the business for a year. How can I get to that £20? How can I get to that £22? And I think a lot of it is about just upskilling certain things, ensuring you have a little bit of longevity, ensuring that the people who are coming to you are getting a slightly better quality treatment, you know, year after year, to make them want to keep coming back.
Absolutely.
You know?
Because you're going to have to put your prices up, but also the more you do, the faster you're going to get. You can introduce skills such as e-file, which is going to speed you up. It's not all about speed, but of course, being faster means you can earn more money in the same amount of time. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right there.
The pricing calculator, one of the reasons we did it is because we spoke about it in a pod, almost 6 months ago. And a lot of people had said, it'd be great if we actually had a pricing calculator. Now you can get them out there and you used to have to pay for them. Now you can get it for free with the Nail Order app. We recently have done a budget for our own personal selves. And it's probably one of the first budgets that we've ever done. And
I don't live by budgets at all.
We don't.
At all. And then whenever we have meetings with accountants, they're like, so like, you want like budgeting reports? I'm like, we made it this far without anyone telling us what to do.
Now, we have grown a lot recently. And the reason we don't do budget and calculators and stuff like that is because we live a relatively frugal life sometimes.
Personally?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So for instance, if we take flights, we usually book it with points, you know, whereas a lot of people have to save £1,000 for flights.
Chris really just doesn't let us spend any money. But also, like, we're quite simple people. Like, we don't have a bustling social life because we work so much. So we're not going out. So we don't need to be spending money on nights out and meals and things like that. Like Chris said, when we go on holidays, we're using points to pay for them. Go and listen to our credit cards episode if you want to know how you can do that. So
we've never had a car on finance, you know, so we don't have to factor that into a monthly budget. Now, I get if you have to do that, a monthly budget is a good way to stick to certain things. I know a lot of staff do it, you know. But recently we've been looking at, you know, purchasing a house or whatever, and it's taken on a mortgage that we've never had to take on that size of mortgage before. So we've had to factor in certain things. But when you sit and break it down, you know, you actually say to yourself, okay, maybe I can afford to do this, you know. And it is maybe cutting back on certain things, maybe shopping in a different supermarket. Like recently I've been going to Aldi, you know.
Yeah, but you buy so much stuff that we don't need that you're undoing any.
Dakota needed a frisbee, okay?
Did he need a frisbee?
Yes, and a foam ball. Yes, he did.
Okay, what other things did you buy today that you wouldn't usually buy?
Nothing, honey.
Okay, so you bought some bubble tea for Laura.
Oh, okay.
You bought a packet of candy kins.
I did. Not for me, though.
Okay, any other things you might think about that you actually didn't need?
A pot of gravy.
Okay.
A pot of southern gravy, because I would like to dunk some chicken into it later. There you go. It was 50% off as well.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
But generally, that is him.
But for me, like, we don't have heat on in the summer, even if it's freezing cold. It's cold today, didn't have heat on. I went for a shower. And it's just about changing how you do lifestyle
Chris refuses
things.
to buy new clothes.
I don't buy new clothes, brand new second hand. But one of the things when it comes to, when you bring it back to actually doing this nail thing, we're really off topic today, aren't we? Because we're recording this actually on a Sunday. Yeah. When you're factoring things into your prices, just ensure that you have longevity is the point I was trying to get at there. Well, for instance, if we take on a new house, a new mortgage, can we physically pay this for the next 25 years? Can we overpay 10% every year like we've been doing for this house, you know?
Definitely not in the new house, but...
Not currently, but can we in the future if we work hard?
Probably not, no.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. And it is just about factoring all these tiny little things in. So I do think a monthly budgeting calculator is great, especially if you need to work out what you can be for sick pay, holiday pay, etc. You know? The last one we're going to get onto here is what I was kind of alluding to in the last one is evolution, not evolving. Now, my tummy is evolving because it's evolving into something else, like a little alien is going on in there. A lot of nail techs, we've seen this, especially as nail techs get older, they stop learning.
The very worst thing that we can hear from customer service or on social media is, I've been a nail tech for 25 years. That has absolutely zero relevance to anything because you know what? Our brand hasn't been around for 25 years. So the things that you learned back then do not pertain to our brand. So you must remain open-minded. And I think the older you get, the harder that becomes. Although I find for us, we've gone the opposite way.
100%. But
is,
that's because we learn from other people's mistakes.
and I think it's like the people that we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I think being surrounded by like younger people does really help with that.
Cameron's not that young. Oh, you mean Laura? Kidding? She's old
Cameron is 24.
now. All right, there you go.
He is young.
Okay.
You are old enough to be his father.
Shut up.
Your child is only a couple of years younger.
Melanie's just a child.
So yeah,
So just to allude on to that, I've been a nail tech for 25 years and I've never had this issue. Now, that may be true, but you've maybe been using a product that doesn't require something slightly different.
well, you've
Now,
not been using our brand if
yeah.
you've been using it for 25 years.
Here at Nail Order, we go out of our way to manufacture these beautiful products that require as little alteration to the way you normally do things. But there might just be one or two things, or might be one or two tweaks that we would normally use. You think about a recipe, a bread recipe. It's been the same for decades. It's been the same
Millennia.
for centuries, millennia. But if you add one tiny little thing into it, it could make it a hell of a lot better. For instance, like when we go get rolls from Tesco, cheesy top rolls, heck yeah. I nearly swore there. Heck yeah. And that's just adding a little bit of cheese. But I'm pretty sure they've had to adapt the flour recipe, you know, the way they do it.
I doubt that, but sure.
Anyway, but this is what I'm saying. So slight tweaks, slight adaptations make for that roll to be excellent.
Like different types of flour require a different amount of kneading.
Yep. All right.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. So be open-minded, because if you're not evolving, you aren't moving with the times. The other thing is products in terms of evolution as well. Just the range of products that are available from, 20 years ago, even 15 years ago
5 years ago
to now
Yeah.
is crazy, crazy, crazy.
One thing Rebecca and I have been talking about so much recently is Build-A-Gel. Now, Rebecca set off on this mission a couple of years ago. I could see just a change in her, and you could just see it coming through in all the free material that we put out, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything. When Rebecca started saying that you need to stop using Build-A-Gel as the one for all. Do you want to go into that analogy that I went through yesterday?
Yeah, so this was a perfect analogy. Again, I've done a TikTok on this. It's like, what about the hair?
Remotes.
Oh, the remotes. Sorry. Yeah. So Chris's analogy was, back in the day, you used to have a separate remote for everything. So you had a separate remote for your TV, your VCR or DVD player, and your Sky. Different remotes. And then the one for all came around. The one for all remote.
Remember opening that Argos catalogue and seeing it for $9.99, and you were thinking to
Only
yourself,
$9.99.
yeah, it was back in the day. Everything was $9.99, and you could think to yourself, "Oh God, think of the amount of times we've lost that remote, and you can't turn the TV on because you couldn't get up and press the button on it, and you just had this one for all remote.
It could do it all.
It could do it all, and that's what Builder was pertaining to.
Builder in a bottle. And Builder in a bottle specifically, if we have any Americans listening, Build-A-Gel here is
soft gel.
soft gel, soak off, Builder in a bottle type gel. You guys might refer to Build-A-Gel as hard gel. Or no, what you refer to as Build-A-Gel, we would refer to as hard gel, so non-soak off. So when Builder in a bottle came around, everybody was like, this is it. This is the one product. This is everything, does everything we need. It's not. You've been sold a dream. It doesn't exist.
I think we discussed this in the dog walk this morning, as we do for every business decision and conversation. I think a lot of the brands who really pioneered it just let people run away with it.
I think they did. Yeah, because I'm like, did they really pitch it as this? A little bit, but maybe they just gave people a spark of an idea and people ran away with it, and then they didn't correct them.
Didn't correct them.
They didn't stop them.
Because why would you? Because you're making all that bank.
You're making a lot of money.
So Build-A-Gel, sorry honey, Build-A-Gel, I would say can be used as a base coat. Can be used as a strengthening base coat by building it up ever so slightly, a couple of thin layers. And then some people all of a sudden were thinking to themselves, oh, if I'm here now, I may as well just make nails longer with them, extend with them, make apexes.
And nobody stopped them. Nobody stopped them. Categorically, you should not be extending nails with soft gel.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just
soft
categorical.
gel.
You shouldn't be doing it.
To make it strong enough, you have to chuck tons on.
And that's what people are like, okay, so I extended some nails with it, but it wasn't quite strong enough. So do you know what I'm going to do? Just going to make it thicker.
Of course, why not?
And then what happens when it's thicker?
It doesn't cure properly.
And then what happens when it doesn't cure properly?
Uncured monomers can potentially seep
Especially
into
when
the
you're
skin.
combining this with poor quality lamps.
Mm.
You know, it's a recipe for disaster. Thickly applied gels combined with not great lamps, recipe for disaster.
Yep. It's like when you mix that flour and you put too much liquid in it and then you put it on a blender instead of a mixer. It's not going to knead
When you get a
into
soggy
bread.
bottom.
You get a soggy bottom.
Undercured gel is like a soggy bottom in baking.
The analogies that we're coming up with right now
Unreal.
it is unreal.
Fire.
And that is what it is like. It's really, that's what it is. It's not cured. It's not baked all the way through.
Absolutely.
So those monomers, you're probably looking at your nails just now. Maybe you should be looking at your nails right now, not if you're driving. Thinking to yourself, but how can monomer sink through that nail bed?
It's not necessary. Well, it's not going through the nail plate unless your nails are really, really thin. You've gone through to the intermediate layer of the nail where the nail is turning to skin, right? But whenever you wash your hands, whatever, it can leach out into the surrounding skin. That's really the issue.
Yeah. And what we found is, now I would suggest that 2017, 2018 when Builder Gel was really like pioneer, come through the ranks as like the hottest product and property, a lot of people weren't really extending with it there. And what you found is, as time goes on, they were uncured monomers were sitting on people's skin. And that's when allergies really started to come to the forefront.
And the thing is, people are like, well, I've been extending with Builder Gel, and I've not had any problems. Okay, well, great for you, but
You're really lucky. Well done.
you're really lucky. But also, you're just using the wrong product. Like, why? Why are you doing it? Is it because you're not trained in hard gel, or you're not trained in acrylics, or you're not trained in full cover tips? Well, if that's the case, then you're just breaking the rules to suit you.
Yeah.
You're bending things just to suit you, and it's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
That's really harsh, but you're being kind of lazy.
It's kind of like going 35 all the time in a 30. Eventually, you're going to get caught, and eventually you're going to get a fine.
Yeah.
You know, why not just leave 5 minutes earlier? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's yeah. So when it comes to evolution, it's always about just assessing where you're at and what's going on with the industry, moving with the industry, and not necessarily pushing back against it. We were speaking about this earlier on. Don't just copy what everyone else is doing, you know. But again, looking at everyone else and saying, okay, people are moving into hard gel, and hard gel looks like a safer option to extend nails with than Builder Gel. Maybe I should look at that.
And it is. The word safer doesn't have many places in the industry when we're talking about products, but using hard gel to extend nails is much safer than using a soft gel to extend nails.
And the reason we're saying safer, which we hate to use as a word when it comes to chemicals, is because black and white hard gel will cure at a thicker rate.
What do you mean black and white?
As in
just factually.
Factually.
Just like factually. Yeah. Not a black hard gel or a white.
sorry.
Yeah, no, factually, it cures at, it cures much thicker. You know, you're talking double, if not more, cure thickness than Builder Gel.
So if you were to do a risk analysis on that,
oh yeah,
so much safer.
yes, exactly.
So much safer.
If you do a risk analysis, that's a great way to put it.
All products, again, nothing is ever safe, 100% safe, but it is a safer version of
It's
it.
about the way that you're using things.
Yeah, me personally, if I had like a dozen clients coming in every single week getting like wanting their nails extended, I would get trained in full cover tips for sure.
Oh my God, yes.
Number one, time. Number one, form factor. Number one, painting. All these
I can't
things.
imagine trying to use Builder Gel to extend a nail.
Nah, man.
See, when I come across TikToks, and I do like TikTok lives of people doing it, and they're like long nails over tips doing Builder, I so want to jump in and be like, this is not good. This is not good, but I don't want to. You've got 2 fruit flies on your thing.
On my thing?
On your stand.
Oh, boys.
Where the hell are they coming from?
boys.
It's going to be a heavy year for fruit flies this year. I just know it. Anyway, I just want to jump in and be like, stop.
It's one of the hardest things to tell people they're doing something wrong, though.
I know it is, and I don't want to be that person.
Nah.
But then again, you know, if they were doing it with our products, that would be different.
Yeah.
If they were doing it with our products and I came across a live, I wouldn't comment publicly. I would message that person afterwards and just say, that.
We personally, as a brand, wouldn't recommend it.
And just to point out, it is not that our products have been formulated in a different way to other Builder Gels to not be used for extensions. No, they're formulated the exact same way as everybody else's builders are. They're designed to be used the exact same way. It's just that we as a brand do not believe that Builder Gel should be used to extend the nails. Okay, you want to fix a little corner, whatever. Okay, sure, whatever. It's not going to kill anyone. But in saying that, if I was fixing a corner of a square set of nails, definitely wouldn't be using Builder Gel. I'd be using hard gel because, again, it's soft and it's going to wear away.
I think it's just about adapting. You as a person, I said this recently, you as a person have changed so much over the last 5 years since we've had Nail Order, you know? I've seen the evolution of you. I think it's one of the best things ever because I get excited about the products because you get excited about the products because you're learning more and more about the products every single day, you know? When you brought out Builder Gel and you seen cure thicknesses and stuff like that because you were really you were building your knowledge, going into depth and thinking to yourself, this isn't right. You seeked out an alternative. You went for hard gel. You pushed hard gel. You brought it back almost. I kept saying to Rebecca, or I was saying to Rebecca last night, I wonder what it's like to be you and changing the nail industry
God,
the way you are. I know, honey, but you have to understand this. You are.
I did call it with hard gel. I called it with hard gel before we released our Dura gel, and I said it publicly, and I was like, this hard gel is going to make a comeback, and my God,
Yeah.
it made a comeback.
But even before that, like with extensions, not many brands in the UK were pushing extensions. You did, and then everyone started copying us again. Rubber base. Like, rubber base was always around, but when you brought Flexi, you pushed it hard. Like Ultima as well. Like, Ultima still sells like hotcakes because
God.
an unbelievable
loves
product,
Ultima.
you know?
It is a very good product.
And then, yes, there's been other people who have done kind of the builder, like rubber base kind of mixy things, but I think it's been mostly accidental. You were intentional. You went down for our Synergel. You made the perfect product. You built the perfect structure of this product. And
I think Synergel is just so perfect.
you know, and I know what you've got coming in the pipeline, and I know the effort you guys are putting into it to make it the perfect product. And I think it's because you want to open up this whole entire world of better products for better uses to make nail techs better. You know, none of this safer crap. It's all about being better. It's all about evolving. And I think that's a lot of people struggle to do that, whether it be brand owners, people who work for brands, or nail techs.
And here at Nail Order, we are pioneers of the multi-purpose product. We adore a multi-purpose product. But going back to what we were saying about like Builder Gel, it's not an all-in-one solution. It's just not.
All right. So let's wrap this up, honey. I think we've kind of went through everything. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
No, I think just in terms of evolving as well, being open-minded and educating yourself and not just taking things on face value is really, really important as well. Don't believe everything that you hear on social media, and do your own due diligence as well. That's really, really important. Don't just take something that somebody says, regardless if it's us or another brand. Make sure you do your own sort of background research as well.
Do you know what I'd love to see? Driving tests for old people.
Oh my God, I've said this for my whole entire life. They have it in other countries. I'm sure in Norway when you get to 70.
Yeah.
I've said this my whole entire life.
The reason I'm saying that is because some of the most terrible drivers on the road, and I'm just pigeonholing here, are young boys who are idiots. My son used to be one until I showed him a couple of like dodgy videos of people crashing, and older people because they've been around the block many, many times in their car.
Well, the thing with older people is there's two main factors. Number one, your reflexes become a lot slower. And number two, when they did driving tests, it was very, very different.
Yeah.
Very basic.
Very, very basic. And I would like to think that nail techs could be the same. Not necessarily do an assessment, but just assess themselves, you know?
Yes.
Every few years. And think to yourself, is there something I should be upskilling just now? Is there something I should be changing? Is there something introducing or reducing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Should I be taking that away? Should I be not off on that treatment anymore? You know? It's all about evolving. And look, at the end of the day, we've all made mistakes, you know? We at Nail Order have made mistakes. And there's something that we now say is that every time we make a mistake, we learn from it and we push out the new content that we've learned, you know? Because we don't want you guys to make the same mistake.
Yep. No one's perfect and you will make mistakes. We will make more.
And we'll definitely hold our hands up and say, like, we made a mistake, because that shows vulnerability and it shows that we are learning.
Yes, absolutely.
You know? All right, honey, what the heck are we doing today?
I think we're going to go and film a quick TikTok.
All right, big, huge order.
Massive order. And then I think we're going to go to a couple of furniture stores.
Why are we going to furniture stores, honey?
In anticipation of the hope that we might have a new house.
Wow. And hopefully by the time this pod comes out, we'll have a more positive
decision. We'll have a...
Not just a decision in principle.
I'm scared.
Yeah, scared. That budget and calculator bit we bang on. That council band change is really crippling.
What about Chris Poher?
Oh, Chris Poher. Yeah, so I was looking. I never look at my waist slip because it's tiny. there's not many zeros on it. It's a very, very small number, and most of you guys will understand why. But I looked at it this morning because I thought to myself, I'm going to have to submit that to the mortgage application. And my name on it was Chris Poher. Very French of me. Chris Poher Costello. Yeah.
Justine has a real bad thing of getting people's names spelled wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, Bareka. All right, so yeah, we're going to go some antique furniture shopping. Is it antiques? Brand new secondhand?
Yeah, something like that. There was a shop I really wanted to go to, but it's now open on Sunday, so we'll need to go next Saturday or during the week. Well, no time during the week, but probably next Saturday, and I really want to go there. It's got nice stuff.
Oh,
but it's out near Newton
I hate
Mearns.
it when it's nice stuff.
Newton Mearns, it looks spenny, but...
Spenny. Jesus Christ. All right, let's see if I remember how to do this. Honey, on that note, please get out of here. Oh, wait. We have to do that whole take a screenshot, £50, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So you can win. We are giving away a £50 store credit or gift voucher to use on the Nail Order website every single month. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is screenshot yourself listening or watching the podcast and share it to your stories and tag us.
Yeah, I did that last week when I was listening to Lucy Pastorelli on Shan's podcast. Some of my favourite people. Well, Lucy and Shan. One of my favourite people. And I was listening to it in the van, took a little screenshot and shared it.
So just do that. It really helps, guys. Just get the word out about it. Obviously, we do this every single week for free. Chris and I talked about this yesterday, right? And so we said that if we get a new house, we would like to make like a corner of the office in the new house at the study podcast studio, because that would mean that we can come into work less on the weekends, because inevitably what happens is we come in to film these podcasts and then we'll go and do other things in the business, whether that's a couple of orders or moving some furniture or setting something up or fixing something, whatever it is. But coming in 7 days a week is really not ideal for anybody. So we thought if we have a corner in the house that we can do that, then we'll reduce the amount that quick we come in.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I said, and Chris said, well, yeah.
I said we actually have to make that a priority for the podcast that we do for absolutely no money at all. For no money at all. No, don't get me wrong, we are monetized on YouTube now.
I think last time I checked it was 7p.
No, it was £7. £7 we're getting this month. Yeah,
What?
that's for the ad revenue, £7. So it's not technically for free. I just wonder, and I'm bidding on a small version of this so we can have one in work in case we have to do one in work, or for Laura and Saphira.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about leaving all of this here.
And I was going to just get a small one for them.
Oh right, okay, that's fine.
So that £7 won't cover it because the minimum bid I've put is £150.
So it's actively costing us money to be here.
Actively costing.
Also
money.
the electricity to put everything on.
Anyway, let's get out of here.
So yeah, guys, please share us. Please share to be in with a chance of winning. Please like, please subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Tune in on Sunday, all the tea getting spilled. Nail text, talking game, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From designs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.